Hi everyone, in this video I'll show you how to create a custom entity in Sylius and render a form on the front end, all using minimal code and the power of the Sylius ResourceBundle. We'll build an advanced example, a store review entity that allows users to submit a review directly from the storefront. Along the way, you will learn everything essential about defining custom resource in Sylius, registering it with Sylius, and exposing it on the front end, the clean and the modern Sylius way. So if you've ever wondered how to go beyond products and orders and simply add your own business logic to your Sylius application with ease, stick around. Let's dive in. If you're working with Sylius and need help, feel free to reach out. I offer free consulting sessions to help you get started or solve specific problems in your project. Just click the link in the description to book your free Sylius consulting session, and let's do things the right way. Enjoy. So let's get started. So we want to create a form that shows on the front end and lets the user rate our store. So this should work like rating the product. So let's take a look. So, okay, then if we go down to review and say add your review, for example, we can here rate our product. What we want to achieve with this tutorial is to create something similar to this, but be able to rate our whole store. Let's say we want the user to simply rate our store. So we will follow the path of this review entity and see how we can make our store reviewable. So and this is a good use case for using custom entities and using the resource bundle of Sylius. So what we are gonna do is first let's go to my entities. What we're gonna do is first let's simply create a new model called a channel review. So if I go here and say here exactly new file, or we can do something else. We can use the maker command from the maker bundle. We can use that. This is probably easier. So I will say I want to create channel review. So let's say hit enter now, and that's it. So it has created a channel review entity for us, and it has created the repository for us. That's good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this channel review and move it to my channel directory, and then I will change the namespace, and our channel should be ready. So let's take a look. So what I'm gonna do is I will be extending the review entity. So Sylius gives us a review entity that we can extend. It has already all its fields configured. So if I go to review.php, you will see here this is already a review entity. The product review entity also extends this, so this is simply general review entity. So what we need to do is simply extend it instead of rewriting all of our code. We can simply rewrite it. So what I'm gonna do is We can extend it. So let's do something like this. So we can simply remove the ID because it is already included. So, and it should be done. So it looks good. Let's take a look. So let's take a look. Amazing. Everything looks good. Perfect. Yeah. So the second step to define a resource is implementing the resource interface. So implementing the resource interface is crucial, but we do that when extending the review entity. It already implements the resource interface. As you can see here, the review entity already implements the review interface, which implements the resource interface. So we don't need to do that. So we've saved a lot of time already. So let's keep going. So the review model has two fields that we must define separately. So it has the author field and the review subject. The author field is simply, in our case, will be the user. So it will be simply the customer, the user. He's our author, and the review subject will be the channel. We must tell this review entity that we want to use them both. So we must to declare our relations. So I want simply say, okay, I have a many-to-one relation to the customer interface, and I have let's say many-to-one also relation to my channel, and that's how we do that. So let's do it. So I will take this. Channel review. And I will go here back to this and take this. So I will be using PHP attributes to define the doctrine relations. So I want to define simply many-to-one relations. So I will go here. 1 second, guys. First, let me show you an example how the product review does it. Product review.orm.xml. So the product review simply does this. So they simply define that in XML, and yeah, so we will do something similar to this. 1 second. So let me copy this. 1 second, guys. So let's go to my review subject and do something like this. So you can simply use the interface, or we can also directly use our channel. So that's already good. Let's keep going. And for my author, I will do something like this. So we can directly use the customer model or simply use the interfaces. So the interface are already configured to pick the right entity for us, so you can simply use them. Okay, this looks good. We must do something else, and that's the reviewable interface must implement the reviewable interface. So the idea is the review subject must implement this, because Sylius does some things under the hood, and it must simply check if this is part of the reviewable interface. So we need to implement that. So our review subject is our channel in this case, and we need to simply implement that. So let's go here. So if I go here and say implement, I think it's called reviewable interface. Okay, perfect. So what we can do is something like this. We can simply define producted reviews. So if you want, we can take a look at the reviewable interface. It has get reviews, add reviews, get name, remove reviews, get average rating, set average rating. So we need to extend our channel for the average rating property, and we need to do that because Sylius simply calculates the average rating of the subject, and whenever we create a new review, and that's also good practice, it lets us simply directly get the average rating without calculating that every time. So it saves us saves us time, and it makes that whole process performant, and that's a good thing. So let's keep going. So we need an average rating property to be able to implement these two functions. So if we go here, so as you can see, my reviews will come from, one second, channel review. So my reviews will come from this, so it is inversed by reviews, as you can see here. Simply I can directly get my reviews. So we can keep going, guys. Let's see what. So get reviews, add review. Let's do it like this. Add review. So let's keep going. So let's see. Get reviews collection. So, and then we need remove review. So we need to define a property average rating. So one second. And we need to also, we can do something like this. So let's take a look at how the product review entity does that. I mean the product entity does that. So for the product review, the product entity is the review subject. So let's take a look at how the product So as you can see, it is defined in this average rating. If I go one step further and check how that is simply defined average rating. So we can also define that. Let's keep going. Perfect, this is what we need. So let's go back to our channel review and simply do something like this. I'll go here, down here. Sorry, I meant to channel. I'll go down here. So, and do something like this. So as you can see, this is also, we need to initialize our reviews array. So let's keep going. It is also good practice to do something like this. 1 second. So mapped by review subject. So that's already good. This looks nice. We must do something like this. Okay, this looks nice. So we've set out all the fields that we need. So this is simply to get the review. So I'm resetting the relation here in the channel. We can skip that. So I think Doctrine will already know based on the other configuration. So but we are also setting this cascade configuration. That's why this may be essential. So yeah, that's it. So now guys, so I've set up my channel review. Everything should look okay. So now when I run a migration, so I will create a new migration. I must be make migration. I must be getting the SQL that I need. So let's so it has created for us a new migration. So let's take a look. I hope everything went okay. So let's see what it has done for us. So as you can see, out of the box it has added an average rating, and this is all good. Create our channel review, author ID, channel ID, everything looks amazing here. And as you can see, alter table, channel review, author ID. So it added it to the correct table, Sylius channel and Sylius customer. So this looks amazing. Let's simply migrate. So perfect guys. So that's all we need for now. This is already amazing. And yeah guys, so right now we've set up our database. So we've set up everything in the database. Everything looks amazing. But if I go and do something like this, so I've yet not defined my my Sylius entity as a Sylius resource. So to do that, so we can take a quick look at the documentation. One second guys, let's take a quick look at the documentation. So as you can see, configure your resource. So it is telling us that we need to set this attribute so that Sylius loads all the metadata as here. So if I go now and say and use this command to check if my entity is a Sylius resource, let's go do something like this. Let's say what do I have here? So let's click enter and see what it finds. So as you can see, it simply tells us I don't have this resource. It still doesn't know about it. That's why we would need to define it and configure it. So if I go back to my documentation, it tells us to simply set the resource attribute. So if I set this, then Sylius will load my resource and set all the metadata for it. So if I go here and do something like this, so one second. So if I do simply something like this and I come here and rerun my command, so let's take a look what Sylius loads. So perfect. As you can see, it is simply loading everything for us. As you can see, the channel review, this gives it a name, so it knows already about our entity. So and we will be using other configurations to keep extending the configuration and let Sylius do other things with our entity. So this is already good. So this is the first step. This is all we need to create a resource entity that is directly registered by Sylius. We simply need this. So everything looks good. We've configured our entity. We've added the necessary fields. As you know, we're creating a store review. We can move to the next step. So the next step is simply creating a new operation. So the next step will be simply to go here. Let's open this and do operations. So we can simply let it empty first. So the first step is simply to say to Sylius, I want create operation for my entity. So if I save this and do something like this, let's say for example debug router app. So Sylius should create a new route for me for this create operation. I should be directly getting a route created. So as you can see, channel review create. So it has created a route for me called channel review create with this path, and it used this default resource controller. This is a new controller, I think from Sylius 2.1, and it actually, guys, if we take a look at the documentation, 1 second. So it actually follows an interesting life cycle, and that's it use this provider processor responder life cycle. And yeah, we'll take a look closely at all these steps, but first we need to do something. If you've already looked at the path, it is simply, it creates a path like this for us. So, but we want it to be localized because our site is localized in multiple language. So what we can do is simply do, if we go here, we can do a root prefix. So, or we can also, I think, go here and define a global root prefix for all operations. So if I go here and say root prefix, I can directly say it should include this in the request. This is for localization. So this is local. So if I go here and debug my root, takes a little bit of time because everything is recompiling. So if I go here, so as you can see, everything looks amazing. So I have this prefix, this is the local prefix, and my root is localized. So perfect. And that's it, guys, for the configuration of the root. In the next steps, we will take a look at how we can create a form and render the form, and simply finish what we've started. So simply have a functional store review form on our site that the user can where the user can enter our his rating, and we will be saving this rating, and also we will be calculating the average ratings and things like that. So guys, we've created our root, so our create operation. Now we'll go into creating our form. So we want to give Sylius, so we want to give the resource bundle a form to render for us, so that we can use in the front end. So to do that, we can go here and define, let's go first and define a form. So I will go here under form types. I will define simply store, let's call it channel review type, for example. So this channel review type, we will be extending our review type. So there is already a review type from Sylius. So as you can see, we have here the rating, the title, the comment, we have everything. So we will be extending this. So what we're gonna do, so luckily we have already an example from the product review type which we can directly use. So let's go here. So as you can see, the product review type adds an author. This is simply the email. So if we go here, this is simply this field. So this is added for the product review. We will do that for our channel review. So what we're gonna do is simply, let's select all. Let's go back to channel review type. Let's call it here channel review. Let's call this looks amazing. So we need to change our namespace. Other than that, everything looks good. So we've created our form. Now we can give this form to the create operation when configuring the resource. But before that, let's register our form in the services.yaml. Let's take a look. As you can see, let's go here. Let's do something like this. So I'm simply passing, one second. So I'm configuring my review type, channel review type. I'm giving it, this is the arguments that the abstract resource type takes. So it takes the class name for the form type, which is this parameter. So I can either give it like directly as a string, or because this is already pre-configured as a parameter when registering the resource. And I'm given my validation group. So I'm given the default validation group so that my fields are validated. If we take a look at the review, let's take a look at this. So one second, review.xml. As you can see, this validation uses the Sylius group. So I'm simply passing that in my services.yaml, and I'm taking that as a form type. This is pretty straightforward, guys. So let's keep going. So we've registered our form. What we need to do now is go to my create operation. So if I go to my create operation in my channel review here. So if I go to my configuration here, I can go here and say form type. So as you can see, form type is simply this form type. So I've told Sylius to use this form type when rendering my operations. So it will give this form type to the controller that is responsible for the rendering. So this looks good. What we also need to do is we need to define a template to actually render the form. So this is important. So to do that, one second, guys, let me save this. So to do that, I will go to my templates. So I will go here to my templates under shop. I've created a create directory. I will go here and create a new directory called channel review. I will go here and simply do something like this, create.html.twig. So here I can render my form. So here I can simply render the form. Let's save it, guys, and let's go here and do template. So this is also interesting. So we can also define redirect to root. So simply I'm saying here, so after I simply create a new review, I will be redirected to this route. So this is simply it will simply show the form again. So I'll be redirected to my create route. So guys, okay, this looks nice, guys. So this looks nice. So now when I call my route, I should be able to see simply an empty page. So let's do something like this. So let's go here. Let's do something like this. Let's see if everything is correctly configured. Then it should be working. It takes a little bit of time because Sylius is recompiling the container, which takes some time. So as you can see, this is simply an empty page. So we found the root. This is simply an empty page. What we're gonna do first, we're gonna extend the base template so that we get the menu and the footer and the header and things like that. So I've simply given it an empty template. That's why we see nothing in the front end. So I have already an example here with which I will be copying. So let's call it let's do something like this. So here I'm inheriting from the layout simply so that my footer and my header also show on the page. On the title, so on the title I'm saying I'm giving it simply, let's call it simply, for example, channel review. Let's call it something like this. So in the content I'm defining a Twig hook. So if you have no idea what a Twig hook is, I will make a separate video for that, but this is the new way in Sylius 2 to override templates and to simply call components and other templates through YAML configuration. This is very, very interesting. We will see in a little bit how we will do that. So I'm defining a hook. This is my hook, which I will later configure and show elements on this template. So I'm given the form because the form is being passed to me from the controller. I'm given also the resource. So this is amazing, guys. If we go here, so as you can see, I've defined my my template, my hook, sorry guys. So if I go to I have a directory here called Twig hooks. So if I go to my Twig hooks here and let's say channel review.yaml. So every Twig hook should start with this, and then let's do something like this. 1 second. So I can do something like this. Let's remove this. So guys, so this is a Twig hook. So I'm telling my Sylius Twig hook that it should create a hookable called form to show on the template. So that's what we're gonna do. So as you can see here, I've created simply a component. This is a Symfony Live component, which I haven't yet configured, which I will be doing soon. 1 second. Let me turn this off. So, which we will soon take a look at how that works. So 1 second. We need to simply first create this component. So if I go here, I already have an example. If I go here to my services form, so let's do something like this. One second. So let's do something like this. So perfect. This looks nice, guys. So yeah, this looks amazing. We're giving it our form. So Sylius gives us this resource form component, which we can configure for any resource entity. So as you can see here, I'm simply defining this form component, and I'm giving it this argument. So I'm giving it the class name, the form type, and things like that. So let's go a step further and do something like this. So one second. So this should match this one here. And let's take a look at this form. So I will copy this. So this is something else. It is a template that we can also use. This is a template that we can also use. This is from the admin bundle, which also renders a form. We can simply select all and go create our own form template. So if I go to my templates, then shop, then CRUD, then channel review, I will create simply a new form directory. And then here I will go here and create form.html.twig. So if I do something like this, then it looks already nice. So this looks nice. Let's keep going, guys. So if I go back to my, one second. Good. So if I go back to my hook and simply change this, we can, it should now be rendering our form. So it should now be rendering our form, I think. Let's give it a try. So let's go back to my template here. It looks nice. So we have an error here, and that's also expected. And this is, guys, the repository interface. So we haven't yet configured our repository, so our channel review repository, to work with the Sylius resource repository. So this is pretty simple. We simply need to go to our repository, which is simply this one here, and simply do something like this. So simply extend this entity repository. That's all we need to do, guys. Let's delete everything here, we don't need it. So we need only something like this. So So now it should be working, guys. So let me save this. So the entity, if you're interested, so the entity repository offers us these functions like add, remove, create paginator, and things like that, which the resource bundle uses. That's why we need them. So as you can see, everything is already created for us, but as you can see, it looks a little bit different. We don't, for one, we don't have simply a save button, so we don't have a submit button, which we need to add, and yeah, and things like that. So let's take a look. So here we must simply not render the label. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is something like this. 1 second. So I will follow Sylius best practices and create for each field, create a template for each field where I'm gonna be rendering the field. So if I go here, let's go to my templates, shop, CRUD, ChannelReview, form, and I will go here and create fields. So let's see how many fields I have. I have rating, title, comment, and let's call it author, for example. So rating, and let's have also a submit field maybe. Rating, title, comment, and author. So they are also already defined for the product review, so we can simply steal them. Let's go, for example, rating.html.twig. So we have all these that we can simply use. Yeah, let's start with the title, for example. Let's do something like this. Go to my title. So let's keep going. Let's go, for example, for the email, which is author, which we have called author. So if I go back to my author, we can render the email. So as you can see, I'm simply rendering the email, not rendering the whole author type, as you can see. So let's keep going. We need the comment also. So we need the comment. So the comment. Let's keep going. We need also the title. I think we've already gotten that. We need also the rating. So let's go back to the rating. So we also need simply submit.html.twig. So guys, we will later define all these templates as hookables, which will later hook into this one. So they will simply hook into this form. So that's what we're gonna do. So the submit, we can also take that. So let's go and take the submit. So perfect. So guys, we're almost done. We need to simply define our hookables. So if I go to my YAML configuration, I need to define all these hookables. So let's go. Let's define first our hook. So let's define, as you can see, I can simply give priority. That means rating will be shown as first. So we can do something like this. Let's give it, also I want it to be shown as last. So let's take a look if everything looks okay. Yeah. So if I save here and refresh, so I should be I can of course go here and do render rest false. So I'm simply rendering the fields myself. So it takes some time. So perfect. As you can see, we have already created our form in the correct way, but you might also be wondering why our rating simply looks different from this. Let's for example get a product and check how that looks on the product. So if I go to my product, for example, here, so if I go here, my product, add review. So as you can see here, it looks really nice, but here it simply looks a bit ugly. So we need to fix that. So to fix that, we need to create a new form theme, so that we simply say, okay, when this field is rendered, then it will show my stars. So so I will go here in my form. So this is the form theme that I'm currently using. So I will go here to themes. So I will go under shop and create themes, and then simply say channel review theme HTML.twig. Amazing. So let's simply first take a look at our so let's do something like this. 1 second. Let's take a look at this theme. So this is define themes from Sylius. So let's take a quick look at it. So perfect. We can go here and do something like this. Let's go to my theme. Let's first simply extend 1 second. Let's simply first extend this theme. So I will do something like this. Where's my theme? So let's first extend this theme. So, and here I will define my my stars. So let's go to my product review. So as you can see here, for example, it is defined this rating widget for the product review. So we need to define that for our channel review. So if I go here, let's see. I go here and say, if I do something like this, so 1 second, and I go back to my form and simply let's theme channel review, and simply tell Sylius, so tell Symfony that I want to use this theme. Then I go here and reload. It should be using our new theme. 1 second. So channel review rating. So 1 second, guys. Let's take a look. Shop themes. Channel review. So this looks okay. Rating widget. So this is the problem, and it should be something like this. So let's take a look at my block prefix in my review type. So let's do something like this. So this looks nice. So it might work right now. So it takes a little bit of time. So as you can see, it has worked out, guys. So as you can see, everything looks amazing. As you can see, everything looks amazing. And yeah, guys, so let's do quick test. So we must do another thing before we're really done, but I will show you. Let's say this is nice store. Let's give simply my email, and let's say nice store, for example. Let's do add and see what happens. So as you can see, I get the error here that the channel ID is simply null. Why is that, guys? So the problem is we don't know which channel we're actually reviewing. That's why we need to, when creating our channel review instance, when passing it to the form type, we need to make sure that the channel, this channel that we're actually on, it should be already set. So to do that, we can make use of the factory. So what we're gonna do, we need to create a custom, simply a custom factory that does that for us. So let's do something like this. Let's create it together. So this is also pretty simple. So I will remove this. Let's go here under source. I will go create a new directory factory. I will go here and say channel review factory.php. I will do something like this. So for example, let's copy this, or let's do something like this. 1 second. Let's, for example, copy this, go to our channel review factory, so channel review factory interface, so create new. So let's do something like this. Let us go to the review factory. Let's take both these functions. So let's go here and do something like this. So 1 second. We can of course do something like this. This is the factory interface. So 1 second. Or we can simply do something like this. So we can simply create a new instance from the channel review, or simply inject the factory and use the create new. So but let's do that. So I will simply follow Sylius best practices and do something like this. So factory interface, so channel review, 1 second. And do something like this. So amazing. Now we need to override these functions. So what I have in my mind is simply private channel context. So we have a channel context, and we also have customer context. So let's do something like this. So this is, let's empty them out. So let's do something like this. So let's override so 1 second. I can do something like this. So let's tell my IDE that's a review subject. So if I go to my here, so if I go to my channel.php class, you will see that I'm implementing this reviewable interface. So if I go here to my custom factory and say something like this, then it works. So let's do the same, and then simply go here and say, so this customer interface, 1 second. So customer context. So we need to add the customer interface. So it should be this one. Yeah, it should be this one. So this looks nice. This looks nice. Customer review set author. So this looks amazing. Yeah, this looks already amazing. So we need to only check something. My review set author. Yeah, perfect. So everything looks all right. So if I pass, so I of course must simply override my old factory. So I'm going to my services.yaml. So Sylius creates for me simple factory service that use this factory interface. It is called, I think, let's take a look. So as you can see here, so it is probably called app.channelreview.factory.channelreview. So let's do something like that. So let's go to my services.yaml. I think I didn't copy that correctly. So perfect. Channel context, 1 second guys. So context.channel and context.customer. I don't need to tag it. I simply need to override this service. So if everything is correct, we should be getting no error now. So if I go here back to my channel review and I'm telling Sylius to use this create for subject with reviewer method, so Sylius should already know that my factory class is this one. So it should already know that it should take a look at this class because I've decorated my service. So as you can see, and yeah, and that's all we need. That's all we need, I think. So let's go and refresh our page. Let's hope we don't get an error. So let's take a look back at our code. So everything looks good. So the text is for service. Yeah, this is also expected. For text is for service. I think this is the problem here. I think we should do something like this. Maybe go here and let's do something like this. Let's take a look. One second. So I think we need to remove this. So 1 second, guys. So So let's give it a try like this. So maybe I think I should do something like this. 1 second. I think this is the correct way. So let's go back to my, this is also expected. I should use the interfaces. So let's use this interface, and also for the customer. So this looks nice. Let's clean this up a little bit. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope it works, guys. Perfect. So finally. So now let's try another test. So this is a store. This is a nice store. I'll give it my email. Let's say nice store. Let me do add and see how that works. So as you can see, I've successfully added a channel review. Maybe in later episodes I will show you how to really show this channel review in the backend, so in the admin panel using admin grids. And yeah, so guys, now it is simply knowing my channel, and it is saving it to the correct channel. This looks really nice. So if I do something like this, as you can see, the validation also works, so everything looks okay. And that's actually all you need to know, guys. So this simply looks amazing. We get a store review form that works, that is functional, with little code. As you've seen, guys, we've done basically nothing. We've created simply a form and a factory, and that's it. So, and this is really an advanced example. So yeah, if you have any question, guys, just write them down in the comments, and or if you want, you can write me private messages. And I know Sylius may be a little bit challenging at the beginning, but it is really fun to develop things on Sylius because everything is so clean, and yeah, when you get the hang of it, everything's simply copy paste. You can simply really copy many things from the Sylius base project, so to say. So yeah, thank you for watching, and leave a like and leave a subscribe. Also give me any ideas you may have about any upcoming videos or any difficulties you may have. I'd love to hear your ideas, and see you next time. Bye bye.